An anti-immigration party has come out on top in another European election. Sunday's vote in Slovenia saw the Democratic Party, the SDS, win the most seats, although it did fall far short of getting a majority. It's been suggested the increase in support for the SDS may be linked to the migrant crisis. Now, almost 500,000 passed through the country in 2015 and 2016 as they attempted to cross into Western Europe. The winning party's leader, Janez Janša, claims that migrants will be better off staying in their own countries.
During the biggest wave of mass migration, we told our European partners that a better life for those who want to come to Europe should be secured in their home countries.
Okay, let's get some thoughts now from Slovenian philosopher and social critic Slavoj Žižek. Welcome back to our team, Mr. Žižek. Always good to talk to you. It was a pretty inconclusive election result, this, but I suppose fairly significant indications of what voters are thinking right now. Do you think he's got a chance of forming a coalition? Other parties don't seem too confident.
I think it will be very difficult for Janez Janša to form a coalition because I don't understand this surprise. Oh my God, Janša won. Look, are you aware that in the last election, in almost all past elections, Janša got more votes than in this last election? It's just that the leftist coalition, which most of the time rules Slovenia, got more dispersed. But now, and not to mention that other smaller right-wing party fared much worse this time. So I think that this anti-immigrant nationalist right and so on is much weaker than it ever was. But nonetheless, I agree with you, they present a considerable force. Why? It's the same process all around Western Europe, United States, and so on and so on. The ruling liberal elites, as we usually say, lost contact with so-called ordinary people, ordinary workers, who simply don't feel represented by European institutions. They think those who sit in Brussels are an alienated elite and they are left behind. And this opens up the space for anti-immigrant orientations. And I think this is a very sad phenomenon, because it's a conflict among two poor groups of people, low and working class, local unemployed, and on the other hand, immigrants, and the elite, the rich people, those who have power, can sit safely in their seats and play humanitarian. You see those racists fighting each other, we are the good guys, and so on and so on. So again, the solution is not to bemoan racism of ordinary people. The solution is to give them a clear perspective, reorientation of the left.
But this is the problem,
yes?
Isn't it? If on the one side the populist parties are saying you've got a rich elite and it's ignoring your needs, but it's quite another to maybe exploit the bandwagon of some of the world's most vulnerable people by tapping into fears, justified or not, of levels of immigration.
I totally agree with you. I'm not saying these anti-immigrant parties are right. It is clear by some signs emerging more and more clearly that some kind of fascism is re-emerging all around post-communist Central Eastern Europe. I even coined a term for them which brought me many enemies, a new axis of evil. Baltic states, Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovenia, Croatia, who are in conflict with Western Europe precisely because of this protectionist, stronger nation state and so on stance. So I don't agree with them, but you know, so it was with fascism. As the German philosopher back in the 40s, Walter Benjamin, said, the rise of every fascism is based on the failure of a revolution. Okay, I wouldn't talk about a revolution today. I would simply talk about listening to the cares, to the worries of the ordinary people. Well, obviously, there is some miscommunication here.
Yeah, and what do people where you are, in Ljubljana, your friends, your neighbours, what do they really think of the migrant crisis? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, as far as Slovenia is concerned, at the height of the migrant crisis, when Hungary closed its borders, many migrants made their way through Slovenia, but they were trying to get to France, to Germany and into Britain. They didn't stay in Slovenia. So what do people where you are really think of the migrant crisis?
If you ask me a frank opinion, I would say we were good humanitarians, relatively decent ones, from a safe distance. Listen, there was a corridor established for for the refugees. They were mostly intercepted at the border, put into buses or trains and transported directly to Austria. And we were a little bit surprised, incidentally, how many of them, when asked, would you like to stay here? They said, no, you are a too poor country. We want Germany, Norway, or whatever. So people felt a little bit threatened, like at the highest point, up to 5,000 people crossed the border daily, but the transport was well organized. So it wasn't a big crisis, but again, clearly it was easily perceptible how one can be, when it doesn't cost you much, an abstract humanitarian. We are not barbarians, we don't want wires on our border, and so on and so on, at the abstract level. But when you really see people going through your country, and of course, I don't blame the poor immigrants. I agree with you. I'm deeply sympathetic with them. We should do something for them. But of course, as among every group of people, there are also criminals among them, and so on and so on. So I think we were lucky that it went pretty smoothly, so that it did not cause any irrational fear or explosions among the majority of the population.
OK, it's always enlightening to talk to you on any subject. Thanks very much for joining us today, though. You might have another election before the year's through where you are, though, Slavoj, but thanks very much for joining us for now from Ljubljana.
Thanks very much. Grateful. Thank you.